It has been far too long, ladies and gentlemen, but we are finally back. Last time we did one of these card breakdowns with the picks and parlays has actually been a little bit half a year ago. Of course, that was on the Josh Emmett and Ron Murphy fight card. So we are finally back, and it feels good to be back. So what's up, everybody? This is the MMA Mark, and of course, as always, I am here with my good friend TMC MMA Gordon. But we actually have a special guest with us as well. So we got TMZ, but we also have TMA Mark Berry in the house as well. What's up, guys?
It's good to be here, man. It's good to be here.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. It's always good to talk to you guys when I can. 14 great fights for San Antonio. Of course, the main event, featherweight bout, and possibly title eliminator in some sort of way. Diego Lopes, of course, is looking to get back into the winning column and break the streak of Joan Silva, the I should really say the last Ronin of the fighting nerds, of course, looking to protect his undefeated record. Of course, in the co-main event, it should be fun too, as Rob Font takes on David Martinez, and overall, just a pretty solid fight night card. Obviously, it's going to be very hard to compete with a stat card that we had last week, of course, uh, over in France, which was a phenomenal card, by the way. Um, I feel like this is gonna still be a very solid fight night card this Saturday. It's gonna be lovely. It's gonna be lovely. But as I said before, interesting card as we go through here, of course. And as always, we are going to start right here at the dead bottom, which is a pretty much a Ultimate Fighter finale right here. And I'm just going to be completely honest right out of the gate. We didn't talk about this fight, guys, but funny enough, I did not watch this season of The Ultimate Fighter, so I really have no clue who these guys are, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. So if you guys can help me here with Donchenko and Rodrigo, it should be interesting, of course. Ultimate Fighter season finale. Obviously, it got canceled before. What can you guys tell me about this fight?
Okay, so I believe Rodrigo Centenato mainly a good overall well-rounded fighter. Loves to pressure with a brawling type stand-up game. Wants to kind of transition into the clinch and eventually try to get his grappling going on the bottom. But if that doesn't work, he's a-okay to kind of stall out on the fence. Not the most exciting game plans, but obviously it has been successful. Getting him into the Ultimate Fighter finale, taking on Danil Donchenko. This guy's dangerous everywhere. Very dangerous on the feet. Got unorthodox striking. Powerful elbows. And on the ground, this guy's also dangerous. He's got a couple submission wins of his own. And yeah, I believe in this fight. I think the kind of brawling approach that Cincinnati brings on the feet definitely going to be an advantage to Dunchenko. There's footage of him, in the past, kind of gassing a little bit, but I think he's kind of cleared that up at the house, and especially in this fight, I think that Cincinnati's game plan is going to go right into Dunchenko's power punches, and even if he doesn't get that knockout, I think he can still kind of get those big moments early to kind of overset the clinch work and the takedowns of Senzanato and kind of win this fight.
Well, I would say I would agree with you, but as I said, I do not know any of these guys. I do not know these two guys, unfortunately. I did go through their records a little bit here, and in my opinion, I think Rodrigo overall was like the more padded fighter. But I mean, over in the Ultimate Fighter, I believe both guys just pretty much beat some very solid competitors. I know on Rodrigo's side, he took on a former Bellator fighter who was 1-0 in that promotion, I believe. Donchenko as well. Actually was in 1FC as well. He's 1-0 over there as well. Got the finish. And from what I also seen, just from looking on Tapology itself and stuff like that, Donchenko has seemed to be finishing his opponents, and Rodrigo has been winning some decisions. I believe one unanimous and one split. Obviously, doesn't tell the tale. Styles pretty much make the fights overall, but maybe a sign of things to come. TMC, what do you think?
Yeah, bro. Tough is the thing about tough, bro. Is always crazy because these dudes leave the house, get with their coaches back home, and their styles might change a little bit. But I definitely agree with you with the Rodrigo. His style is definitely more put together than Neil. But for some reason, I like Daniil's striking a little bit. It's a little awkward, and I think if he can just stuff the takedowns and keep it on the feet, I think he could win this fight. In terms of betting, I'm not really comfortable laying 2-1 on Daniil just because he's not
Right.
really a proven guy. But if I had to choose, I'd definitely go with the under 2.5. I think these dudes, both of them, fighting to get that ultimate Ultimate Fighter finale winner, and I think they just go after it in the first 2 rounds. So they give you 2.5. I like it a lot.
Well, it's going to be interesting here, and of course, tough has kind of been off. I mean, there really hasn't been too much of a relevant winner uh, since I would say possibly Kamaru Usman. Of course, Brian Battle was doing good things, but then his unfortunate weight cuts. And I mean, who knows if we even see the guy in the UFC again. Then you got, of course, other people that just did not live up to the hype. For example, Ricky Tercios, which I mean, with no disrespect when I say this, I think was probably one of the worst fighters I really had the chance of watching. Really do not understand how he won tough, but I mean, that's the thing about it. The styles overall, styles make fights, and Tercios did whatever he could do here, and I mean, going by these odds, it's just like I said, with the decisions of Rodrigo compared to the finishes of Donchenko. Obviously, this fight right here is going to be recency bias, um, of course, because the betters and the fans are pretty much watching tough, and most of these guys do not do their research at all. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do my research on this fight. Um, but it's an interesting fight. I don't know if I have a pick yet, but what are you guys feeling for this fight?
I definitely like Donchenko. As I mentioned before, I like Donchenko in this spot mainly because of the how you said the styles make fights. And as a bet, I do like the fight does not go the distance. Whatever that may be right now, I think like you said, two guys are definitely going to get after it. It's going to be kind of a car crash situation, especially early on in this fight. And especially as it goes late, Centenando, like I said, doesn't have as many finishes as Donchenko, but he is somewhat dangerous on the ground, can create scrambles there. So yeah, I like fight does not go the distance here. Maybe if you're feeling real confident Donchenko, maybe do Donchenko inside the distance, but I wouldn't really lay any serious money on either of these two guys until we can see them in the octagon. Because the Ultimate Fighter, there's way too many variables that we see in the whole short notice turn rounds on that fight, and sometimes 2 round fights. So I'd maybe lay off this one in terms of like going crazy.
And I think honestly, I agree with you. TMZ, what do you think, man?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Barry here. I mean, I like I just checked the not go to distance is around -230. So that's not a bad one if you want to parlay that. And I'm going with Dunchenko as well. I think just him on the feet, his awkwardness, his power might throw Rodrigo off a little bit early. But if Rodrigo can get the takedowns, I could see him getting maybe a early sub. So but I'm going with Daniil on this one.
And just like for me, like I said, I do not really have a pick for this fight right now. If I am leaning a little bit, I mean, if I just want to go ahead and I mean just fucking put my eyes or put my hand pretty much over my eyes and just throw a dart on. I mean, that's just how I really feel about it right now. But hopefully, I look into these guys a little bit more before Saturday, and I'll have my pick from there. But the next fight we got is classic women's MMA, guys. And I mean, when I say this is bottom of the barrel, I think this is pretty much bottom of the barrel. Of course, this is a close fight. Uh, Going by the odds, Alice Pereira making her debut against Montserrat Rendon, who is, I believe, 1-1 right now with the UFC. All decisions, all decisions from what I've seen as well. And Alice Pereira, of course, the more exciting fighter overall, but I've seen some of her fights, and I mean, some of them look very, very odd. What can you guys tell me about this fight?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's going to be a kind of thing that's going to be recurring. But Alice Pereira, you look at that Tapology page, you're going to see some flags on there. You're going to see illegitimate.
You there, brother?
You good?
TMZ, anybody?
Yeah, I'm right here.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, brother. What were you saying?
All right, so as I was saying, you're gonna see a lot of flags on Alice Pereira's page, illegitimate fights, flagged for legit illegitimacy. Some of these don't even have like enough like evidence that it even took place. But looking on the other side of Rendon, a lot of people, Pereira opened up -200, close to that, I believe. A lot of people on Rendon this week, but I don't see it in my opinion. I just on one hand, there's no danger, right? All six of her wins by decision. Has not seen under 3 rounds in her entire career yet, and I just
Right.
don't love the game plan. Very stiff striking. Nothing really to offer in that department. Even the takedowns on her last fight, secured 3 takedowns versus Daria, I believe, and she still lost
Yes.
that decision 2-1. So I don't entirely love the game plan of Rondon. I do think there is going to be a time where Pereira is going to get kind of set back a little bit. Again, she's only 19 years old, so maybe that time is now, right? Maybe she's just not ready. But obviously, I just think that she just her youth and her speed, just by itself, is going to be able to kind of carry her in this fight, in my opinion.
Now, honestly, I definitely agree with you here. I believe Rendon, of course, started her MMA career very late. She's coming off of a interesting decision loss, of course, and like you said, very stiff striking. She is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. That is her, you know, her game, pretty much. Um, but in my opinion, just really nothing extraordinary about Rendon. And of course, with Pereira, sky's the limit for her right now. Obviously, she's the much younger fighter overall. She's going to be faster. She may try to mix it up overall. TMZ, how are you feeling about this fight? Because I mean, obviously, Rendon has 2 fights with the UFC. Definitely more experienced overall with Alice Pereira against the higher up fighters, I guess, if you really want to call them that. What are you feeling about this fight, man? What do you think?
Man, I can't believe you guys made me take the dog this fight. Honestly,
Mm,
I have to go with Montserrat only because this is my main take, right? So Pereira, she's no relation to Alex. This is a whole nother
yeah,
Pereira. Sh- Like like Barry was saying, her track record is a little sketchy. I mean, she hasn't really fought anybody. So you're 19, come into the UFC, right? And now you come in as a almost 2-1 favorite after fighting nobody, and you're 19, so you don't really know much. You're still evolving, still growing. So I think off just being more of a veteran, and I see Rendon. I think she's getting rounds with Pena over in Chicago. I don't know if she's still over there, but I think experience is a big thing here, man. The lights, the UFC jitters. I can see like if this 1-1 in a round 3, I might want to go with Rendon just off experience. We don't know what Pereira looks like when she has to grind out a decision, so I'm gonna go with the more experienced fighter as a dog.
smart take, honestly. Smart take going for that. Uh, Rendon. obviously, I believe will have the stamina. But then again, I believe Alice Pereira actually had a 5 rounder, so she has seen a 5 rounder in her career, so maybe the stamina will not be an issue. It's just more of the question of how will she deal against someone that's really more experienced. Because, this isn't a journeyman, this isn't a 3-2 athlete, that she's dealing with just like she was over in the Indies. This is, a completely different test for her. This is the biggest fight in her career. It could all crumble down. But it's interesting. It really is interesting. But for right now, I honestly have Alice. Um, I don't know if she gets the finish overall, but if I look correctly here, I believe Alice by decision. Yeah, Alice by decision right here. Oh, it's actually pretty lower than what I expected it to be. Yeah, plus 140. Eh, I don't think this is really a fight to really have anything with, to be honest. I don't think this is anything good with this fight when it comes to betting.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah, I
totally agree.
100%
And
agree. Oh, you go.
for sorry for the bettors out there, I know if your book offers spreads, I think Rendon plus 3.5 would be a great take, just because she can win one round and that better cash. So I think that'd be another good take too.
And plus it's women's MMA, so you absolutely never know what's going to happen. Women's MMA is the literally the most unpredictable thing to bet on, really. And we've seen that in the past many times, numerous times. So interesting fight. But I think me and Barry have Alice or overall, and I believe TMZ has a big titty girl. Big titty girl. I remember her debut, right? I remember Rendon's debut, and I was like, damn, this old woman. This old woman, the striking is absolutely terrible, but I mean, I feel like Alice's grappling overall will be tested. It'll be an interesting fight, the youngin versus the technically veteran here in the UFC, just the older fighter overall, more experienced fighter. We'll just have to see. We'll just really have to see with this fight. So up next, flyweight bout. One of the heaviest favorites on the card, Alessandro Costa, taking on Alden Correa. I believe how you say that. I might be saying that wrong. If I am, I apologize. But interesting fight. I honestly don't think there's really a lot to talk about here. I believe you guys know more about Alden more than I do. But for right now, in my opinion, I got Costa.
Yeah, 100%. If you haven't seen Costa fight or Korea fight, pretty decent everywhere. Doesn't really excel at anything, but I still think he's a decent signing for the UFC. Got nice hands, decent power. Can mix in wrestling if as kind of like a backup plan, but
Yeah.
this is just like a bad matchup in my opinion. I completely understand the signing of him. I think he's good. It's good for the UFC to have him in here, but in terms of this matchup, he's going to be at a major speed disadvantage here, and I think the wrestling's going to be really hard. And despite Costa kind of having this long layoff, when he's up against these kind of lower level fighters, he's lost to some really good guys, Albazi and Ursig, but when he
Yeah.
goes up against these lower level guys, Jimmy Flick and Boras, he's putting belt to ass, to be honest with you. He came out there against Boras and kind of treated him like he was a low level fighter. He butchered his legs. And it's going to be a big weapon in this fight is the leg kicks against this taller fighter. And I just think he's going to be first to the punch in a lot of these exchanges. Again, not really too much to say. I think Costa can kind of put it on this young kid and maybe even get him out of there early in this fight.
Of course, Alden, I believe, is actually coming off of a. This is short notice, I believe, for him because Costa was supposed to fight Edgar Shirez, I believe. which would have been a really interesting fight. Absolutely, would have loved to see that. And I believe even then. Oh wait, no, there wasn't a Egger did not come in on short notice as well. I thought he did. Um, but yeah, that was the original fight right there. Egger Shirez and Alexandro Costa. But now we got Alden Correa on short notice. TMZ, what do you think about this fight, man?
Yeah, bro, I agree with you guys. I mean, coming on short notice is tough, but fighting Costa on short notice is even tougher. I mean, Barry touched on it. I mean, if it's not against Urseg or Abazi, even though Abazi fight, he fought really good. So, but when he's fighting guys like Jimmy Flick, these other lower level, the Borjas, this dude Costa is a monster. I mean, he kind of reminds me of like a little tank. The way he's just his build and his striking is good. I mean, he's really good friends with Diego Lopes. They're pretty close. So I think on short notice, bro, there's a lot to handle. And yeah, I could see Costa maybe getting it done inside the distance.
And I honestly think I agree with you guys too. I don't know if he gets it inside the distance, but I do think overall Costa will win this fight. So, not really a lot to talk about there. But we do have Mark Berry's favorite fight coming up next. Middleweight clash. Zachary Reese versus
Best
Cedricus
fighters in the
Dumas. SD
UFC.
Dumas, probably the greatest fight you will ever see between two great middleweight prospects. But all jokes aside, this is an odd one. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's a pretty shit fight because you just don't know what can happen. I'm a fan of Zachary Reese. I've seen Reese fight before, of course, and he usually tends to try and bring it. Dumas is Dumas though. Might have to switch stances for this one so he doesn't break his ankle monitor. What do y'all think about this fight?
Let me get this out of the way. First of
Oh
all,
boy.
is that both these guys are not very good, right?
Right.
Let's get that out of the way. First, because Zach Reese obviously had that horrible debut against Cody Brunch. He got slammed doing
Yep.
that jujitsu bullshit off his back, and Dumas, the outside of the cage stuff speaks for itself, right? The dude's not focused on mixed martial arts as a whole, and we've seen that in his last couple fights, and especially it's the main point I'm gonna um take to lean Reese is when this guy's pressured, he responds terribly. When this guy's pressured, he shells up. He doesn't know what to do. When he gets hurt bad in these fights, he just kind of curls into a shell and gives up. And that's gonna because you know what Reese is gonna do, right? He's gonna come forward with the pressure of the hands and either just kind of look to land the power on the feet or transition to a takedown where he has shown he is good on the ground. Despite if he is on his back, he's kind of too comfortable down there, but that's not really going to be a factor here. And again, the other thing that Reese struggles at is durability isn't very good, but Cedric Dumas just does not hit hard enough, in my opinion, to warrant a real threat on the feet. Even if this fight kind of extends beyond what people think, I don't think the
Right.
threat's really going to be there. And even if it does extend, Reese, like I said, could just use the pressure, the pace, kind of keep Dumas backing up. I mean, even Dumas against Dennis Tululin was like 10-10. He was getting backed up in that third round. He wasn't liking the
Yep.
pressure. Tululin was raising his arms like he won that fight. Like that's not good. So all in all, I'm gonna pick Reese here. It's not really me picking Reese, but more betting against Cedricus Dumas. I think it's done inside the first couple rounds.
Honestly, guys, I really feel like this really just comes down to who hits who clean first. I believe both guys are pretty chinny. Reese, I do not think Reese has really fully recovered from that Bokoyev knockout that he suffered. And I believe it kind of showed himself there when he finally got hit clean by Dusko in his last fight. And that kind of worried me a bit because I picked Reese and I actually put a little bit of money on Reese. So I was shitting bricks, of course. Um, but I mean, Reese he's shown pretty good fight, obviously, and definitely more fight than Dumas overall throughout his career. But I don't know, just that fact that Reese is chinny definitely worries me, and I honestly think Dumas has more of a chance than what people seem to believe. I feel like this fight could probably be a little bit closer on the odds. Both guys are not really in a good position right now. But I do agree that Reese should be the favorite in this fight overall, though. Mm.
Yeah, man. So this is a tough one, but it's crazy because this is my favorite fight on the card right here. But
Really?
Dumas is, I mean, yeah, honestly, bro.
Wow.
Dumas, kind of like Bear was saying, this dude isn't really good at all. But same with Zach Reese. With all due respect, I don't think either of them are really good, and they won't really do anything big in the UFC. But when these two fight each other, this is gonna be crazy. I can see. I'm going with Zach Reese only because I don't think Dumas on the ground will be as advanced, but Zach Reese's chin is also pretty suspect. I mean, you guys brought up the Bokov knockout. I was
Yeah.
there when Cody Brown just slammed him on his head in Texas. That was a tough one. And yeah, bro, I mean, he just doesn't move his head. The last fight against Dusko, that was a big red flag for me. That was a fight he was supposed to get done inside the distance. He made it way closer than it should have been. So I can see Zach Reese trying to get his back early and maybe make Cedric drain his gas tank. But I'm definitely gonna go with Zach Reese in this fight. I can't really trust Dumas, especially what we're seeing on social media with his bank account and the arrest and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Zach Reese, maybe sub round one, round two.
Yep, should be an interesting fight. And I mean, hey, you know, this might be like a Julian Marquez versus Cody Brundage situation. This might actually come out to be a fucking banger between two pretty shit guys. And I mean, no disrespect when I say that, but interesting fight. But I think we all agree in unison that Reese should probably take this fight. I do like the sub pick for you, TMZ. I think that's pretty interesting. I think Reese in that last fight he had against Dusko, he was actually doing pretty good in the grappling from what I remembered. So that's interesting, but who knows, man? Maybe the gas tank will show itself again. It's just
Yeah, no, he
no, go ahead, bro.
sorry, yeah, he was doing good, bro. But we're gonna talk about it, man. It's Dusko, bro. Like it's hard not to look good against Dusko because it's
Dusko's
that
not
dude.
good, bro. You got to
Yeah, I'm
just
saying
calm
he's
that
not
down.
good. He's
Yeah.
fighting a dude that's not good either. So yeah, we definitely we're gonna talk a lot of levels about this card. So yeah, Zach Reese should win this fight. Dumas hopefully still has a job out of this fight because it seems like he needs it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it should be a fun one for how long it lasts.
Well, it's like I said, man. It's this card compared to the France card that we just had last week. It's completely different, and the skill level is completely different as well. So who knows? But this is just a good way and a good opportunity for all these guys to try and make a highlight reel out of the other. So we'll just have to see what they do. But I like this fight right here. Jesus Aguilar taking on Luis Garul. Garul in his last fight, we actually talked about him in our last card breakdown TMZ. He fought Ode Osborne. I picked Ode Osborne and I was completely right. Now I did pick him by sub, which absolutely sucked, but I was still happy nonetheless that I was right on the Ode Osborne pick. Luis Garul, of course, was a very high ranking prospect on Tapology at the time for flyweights. And Aguilar, man, what can you say about Jesus, man? Just a powerful flyweight, but he's looking to get back into the winning column here. Both guys are looking to get back into the winning column. What can we say about this one?
Yeah, listen, I'm seeing a lot of split opinions on Twitter right now. There's a lot of people going, "Oh, why is Louis Garul such a big favorite? He's got knocked out in his only fight in the UFC, and Aguilar has the wins in the UFC, has the finishes, has the knockout power." But in my opinion, I think this is like somewhat of a cut and dry matchup for Garul. In my opinion, listen, he got knocked out by Ode Osborne in his debut. That's a really hard debut. I know he's got the 13-9 record, but Ode
Yeah,
Osborne, very fast, powerful striker.
and
And
we
that's just
just
like a
saw
poor
with that
matchup for
last
Guerrero.
fight that he had too.
I was also on Osborne in that fight, and he showed the power and the speed. But that's not what Aguilar is. Aguilar, he is powerful, but he's not really doesn't have the speed or the distance. Ode Osborne's a big dude for this weight class. Aguilar, I'm pretty sure this guy's 5'2". The striking technique is just not great in my opinion. It's very wild on the feet. Of course, if he does land, there could be something there, but as long as Garul can kind of keep the distance, he has very good hands in my opinion. He just hasn't been able to show them in the UFC. And this guy's also a really good scrambler. You saw in that the Nick Piccinini fight on the Contender Series. Nick Piccinini is a Oklahoma State wrestler, and he was able to scramble and work out of those exchanges a lot. As long as he minds his stuff on the ground, of course, watch out for that guillotine. But he knows it's coming, right? So as long as he defends against that, keeps distance, I think he wins this fight, pretty comfortably in my opinion.
Yeah, in a way, I definitely gotta agree with you here. I feel like that last fight that Lewis had with Ode Osborne, of course, like you said, it was a very hard debut. It's very hard to look good against Ode Osborne. Um, but I believe what was the key takeaway for me is just due to the absolutely insane height and reach advantage overall that Ode Osborne had. This is a definitely a more interesting fight for for Lewis to actually showcase his skills. Um, Now Jesus, of course, he
And
does
it
have
wasn't like
that
he was like
guillotine.
getting smoked in that fight. Like he was
Yeah,
winning like parts of
he
that fight. Like
was.
you're gonna look and see his knockout, but he was winning that fight up until the knockout.
Yep, he was winning until he wasn't. And of course, Jesus, a lot of people, it's like you said, he is insanely wild. He's insanely wild, and he will do whatever he can, for 15 minutes if he has to, swinging big bombs at you straight away, no breaks. I mean, but at the same time, he's made some very questionable decisions. I mean, I believe one of his last fights, maybe I have to refresh my memory, but I believe it was maybe against Estevan. But I might be completely wrong.
Yeah, last fight was against Esteban.
Yeah, and I think Estevan obviously missed weight too, like he always does. But he made some very questionable decisions. I mean, when he got him hurt, he decided, oh yeah, let's just go ahead and clinch. And I feel like that really cost him before, and it's going to cost him again, maybe. Um, but Jesus is a very good fighter, and I feel like a lot of people have promise on him due to that insane knockout that he had, but a lot of people have to realize that was against Shannon Ross. All right, probably one of the worst flyweight signings that the UFC has ever had. So you really have to take that with a grain of salt. Um, it's going to be an interesting fight, but I think I agree with you, man. I'm going for Louis Garul in this fight. What about you, TMZ?
Yeah, so I'm gonna agree with you guys, man. I'm gonna go with Garul. I mean, I remember you did pick Ode Osborne in that last fight, which was a great pick, but it's just a whole different matchup with this one. I mean, Aguilar is 5'4", Ode is around 5'7", 5'8", and they're just way different matchups. I know Aguilar, like Barry said, likes that guillotine. So I think if he just minds his P's and Q's taking him down, I think he can hold him down, honestly. Aguilar doesn't seem like the hardest guy to control, and Garul was looking good in his debut. He just, like you guys said, he got caught. So I like Garul in this one to bounce back. I mean, I know he trains with, I believe, Hernandez and Royval over there in Colorado. So I'm sure they have a good game plan and they can get this job done against Aguilar.
Well, this should be a very good change of pace for Garul, knowing that he has the height and reach advantage in this fight. Um, it should be an interesting one. Very intrigued by this fight. Definitely one of the fights that I'm looking forward to the most. Women's strawweight right here, fellas, and this should be interesting. Tatiana Suarez and Amanda Lemos. Of course, Suarez is coming off of her loss to Zhang Wei Li for the strawweight strap. Amanda Lemos is coming off of a solid win against Lucindo, I believe. Um, and of course, like I said before we started, I'm a big fan of Amanda Lemos. I always had. I've always liked Amanda Lemos a lot. But Suarez is still a monster. It's just, unfortunately, she had to fight someone like Zhang Wei Li, who is just on a completely different level. Uh, Honestly, if I had to look at this fight, I love Lemos with all my heart, but I just I don't think he really does. She does good in this fight. Um, you know, TMA brought it up, Mark Berry, and he he pretty much got it. Um, he's just spot on with it. I should really say. I'm losing the words, but he was spot on with it, and I agree with him. I don't think Lemos really has a very good bottom game, and Suarez, of course, is a heavy wrestler. I don't. I definitely see like a Suarez sub, potentially in the works here with with this fight. But what do you guys think? Honestly, it's a solid fight, and of course, with Mackenzie Dern and Vanna Janjaroba about to fight for the strap now. I mean, this fight right here, in some way, some capacity, might actually be the number one contendership. It's number two versus number four.
Yeah, I completely agree. To kind of touch on the Tatiana Suarez side first. Look, this is the first time she's fought twice in a very long time, and in 1 year. Obviously, the injury concerns have been there for quite a while. She seemed to be kind of getting back in the rhythm, but like there is kind of that back of the head worry, like is these injuries like catching up to her? Because these aren't just like minor injuries. She's had very serious injuries, so.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a little bit of a concern, but in terms of stylistic matchup, it is classic striker versus grappler. But what the thing I do like on the Lemos side, I'm just gonna go forward and say I'm picking Suarez in this fight. Minus 500. But Lemos, she seems to be improving her skill set every time she fights, and she's 38, but she's still improving every time she fights. She saw in the last fight she was able to defend the takedowns, even get some of her own in that fight against young prospect in Lucindo, kind of turned back that prospect. I know it wasn't the most exciting fight, but she definitely showcased her veteran savvy there. And it could be something similar. She's able to defend these takedowns against Suarez. We saw against Wei Li, she didn't really have a backup plan. The striking's not really on the level that you want to see it at if those takedowns don't work. But all in all, I do think she will eventually find the takedown. The Whaley fight. I kind of dogged on her for her performance in that fight, but in that first round, she did find the takedown, and I think it's going to be a little bit different if she takes down Amanda Lemos because as I mentioned before the show, right, her bottom game is probably her by far her weakest point in MMA. We've seen it multiple times. And I know Vera Jandiroba is very good, but as soon as Jandiroba got on top, got the back, she was working from position to position, and she just could not catch up. So I like Suarez in this spot. Again, I'm kind of cautious on her, as I've had been for a while, but I still think she gets this one done. It's a good stylistic matchup for her.
Gordon, we were talking about this fight a little bit here, Suarez and Lemos. What are your thoughts on the matchup too? Because it feels like this is really just one question and one question only: Can Lemos defend the takedowns?
Yeah, and Barry made a lot of good points. Lemos did look really good her last fight. So to answer your question, I think Lemos will get taken down. I think the big thing though to add on to your question is can she get back up? I think that's the biggest
Right.
thing. And that if she can't get back up, then it's probably gonna be game over. I'm looking at the numbers right now. You can get Tatiana by submission by for plus 155 and decision plus 185. So
Hmm.
they a lot of people are thinking the sub for sure, but I can see a decision. I think with Lemos can do to help her is maybe throw a little feint, throw that uppercut a lot. Kind of Tatiana's gonna go real low, trying to get on her legs and take her down. So I wanna make an argument for Lemos because she is a really good fighter, and when she's executing her game plan, it's a real fun fight. But she's a beast, man, and even against Wei Lee, she won the first round. But Wei Lee, as we all see, she's one of the greatest of all time. So I gotta go with Tatiana. I can see her get a late sub for sure. So maybe round 2, round 3.
Yeah, and check this out. This might be, in a way, maybe some free money. Over 2.5 total rounds plus 100. That might be something interesting to look at, in my opinion.
What's Suarez minus 3.5 right now?
Say that again.
What's Suarez minus 3.5 right now?
Hmm.
I'm seeing Suarez minus 7.5 on this book right here.
Damn.
7.5. That's probably
Yeah,
juice though.
yeah.
Yeah, it's minus 140.
I think the odds are still kind of fucked up from because I mean, if we actually go up to the top here with Lopez, I mean, you could see Lopez is the favorite for some reason. You go on DraftKings, John Silva's the favorite, so not sure what's up, not sure what's going on, but this is an interesting one, guys. It is actually a return. Of course, Claudio Poles, the King of Peru, or was it Prince? Either way, Claudio makes his return after quite some time. Looking to get back into the winning column against Joaquim Silva, who is very powerful lightweight. Um, Claudio, of course, is back after what? Since 2022, 2023, I want to say. Um, and of course, got his time at the top to, test himself against these guys. And I mean, obviously, we have not really seen him all that since. Um, I believe Joaquim's last fight, or at least one of his last fights, he took on who is now the number one contender in the lightweight division, Arman Sarukian. Interesting fight, guys. This is actually a pick'em right now from what I saw on DraftKings, if I remember correctly. But in my opinion, I have Joaquim Silva, and it might be a finish. Unless Claudio has truly been improving himself, I mean, I'm having to go by, obviously, what we have seen from Claudio before in his last performances.
Yeah, for sure. That is kind of the one like wild card in this fight. Like, is Claudio going to be like a really good wrestler now? Because I know he wasn't in the last fight. He wasn't wrestling very well, but he was trying to wrestle. I know in that Dan Hooker fight, he was just kind of rolling for leg locks. Against Farasiyama, he was shooting like actual takedowns. Trying to get to top position. But the problem with these leg lock guys is that they have these dominant positions on top, and they instead of maybe going to side control or going to mount, they roll for the leg. And I don't think rolling for the leg is going to work against Joaquim Silva, who's doesn't really use the ground game offense very much, but nicknames Neto BJJ. He's from a high level background, and this guy can crack on the feet. He's got massive knockout power on the feet. And against Puelas, if the takedowns aren't there, then this guy doesn't really have any striking output on the feet. We saw that against Dan Hooker, right? This guy has no success on the feet against guys who can, pump out the volume, have the power. So I think against Silva, I think Silva is going to be able to kind of, maybe start a little bit slower, kind of wait for those takedowns, and then once those takedowns stop working for Puelas, I think he's going to be able to unleash with a big right hand, maybe go for some flying knees or something. But I do like Silva in this fight to either win by knockout or by decision. And again, both these guys kind of on long layoffs, so that's probably why the odds are like pretty close in this
Yeah.
fight. But I got to go with the guy I trust more to implement his game plan most effectively. I think that's going to be Silva in this fight.
Gordon, what about you, bud?
Yeah, man, I gotta agree, bro. I can't really side with Pueblo is here just because these guys that just depend on BJJ, they kind of just give up when it's not going their way. And Silva, I mean, his striking's pretty crisp to me. I mean, in his last fight, he hurt Jakar pretty bad. Even though he lost the fight, his striking looked good. He hurt Armin. So this dude can strike with the nickname Neto BJJ. I'm sure. I really doubt he gets caught with a leg lock or something like that. So I think if he just stuff the takedowns, keep on the feet, I don't really see him losing a striking match to Claudio at all. So I could see him win a decision here, but that's basically my main take on it. Don't think I don't think he can lose if it stays on the feet. So I'm gonna go with Joaquin Silva.
Yeah, I think we all are pretty much same mind, when it comes to this. But then again, obviously we have not seen Claudio in a while. But then again, we haven't seen Joaquin in a while. He was supposed to fight Rafa Garcia, of course, earlier this year, I believe. That fight got canceled. So now we got this fight. And the Prince of Peru, had to check, but Prince of Peru is back after quite some time. Definitely been over a year. So I was definitely wrong on that. But his last win was back in 2022 against Clay Guida. And I mean, you could take that how you want. Guida, the man with the most losses in UFC history,
Both
but
these
an
guys last
absolute
win there
legend.
against Clay Guida.
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting.
That's
I
a crazy stat.
I completely forgot about that, but yeah, should be an interesting fight. Um, I'm honestly more worried about the um the cardio of Claudio. I hope he has been improving his cardio bad. Um, you don't want to overdo it like BJ Penn did, but I mean, definitely one of his weak points is his cardio, and we've seen that plenty of times. So hopefully he has an answer for that. Hopefully he has an answer for the striking as well, because I mean, the kid's still young. He's still very young. Um, we'll just have to see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Middleweight bout. And we talked about this a little bit, but I mean, just like with Reese and Dumas, just another very off middleweight bout here. So you got Jose Medina, who is, I think, coming off of 2 or 3 straight losses in a row, and Dusko Todorovic is coming off of a free fight losing streak in his own right. So guys, they're both fighting for a contract here. I think that's very obvious. But I do feel like this fight will stay on the feet, and things might get interesting from there.
Yeah, I mean, let's just get this out of the way. First of all, these guys are not. I would think this is not a very controversial take to say these guys aren't really UFC level. We've kind of seen these guys, test their luck against some of the kind of mid-level fighters. These guys are getting, I mean, they're getting smoked, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah.
both just kind of don't have very limited skills, especially, I'm going to talk about this, especially Jose Medina. And besides being tough, I really don't know what this guy does. Like, name one thing this guy does, which is good. Like, I don't know what he actually, like, specializes in. Like, it says he's a boxer, but I don't really see the hand speed or the power or anything like that. I think it's going to benefit Dusko. I know Dusko, himself has a glass chin, and not great cardio, but I think he is able to kind of every single fight he does kind of goes out there on his shield. He does push the pace on these people, and I think he's gonna have a lot of success doing that against Medina, who again doesn't really excel anywhere. He can transition to takedowns if he wants to. In my opinion, if he is able to get him down to the ground at any point, I think this fight's pretty much over. Because he does have a pretty decently high level BJJ, and at the end it basically just comes down to Djordjevic does have skills as limited as they may be, and I just don't see any on Medina's side. So I like Dushko inside the distance. I think you'll probably look minus 400.
Now I think we're both going to agree with you here. I don't know what Gordon's thinking with this fight, but I mean with Dusko, at least with Dusko, unfortunately, he's been fighting a lot of tough guys. Chidi and Jokawani, of course, Gregory Rodriguez, of course, CLD as well, Mansour Abdul Malik. He's fought many of these, at the time, undefeated guys, and I mean, if they're not undefeated in their career, they're at least undefeated in the UFC. So, he's had a rough run here in the UFC, of course. But it's kind of crazy, what can happen in just a snap of the fingers. Because at one point, this guy was 9-0 when he made his UFC debut, and then all of a sudden, he's 2-6 overall. So honestly, a scary thing, and he's obviously fighting for his contract here. Same thing with Medina. TMZ, what are you thinking about this fight, man?
Man, if you guys would have told me a year ago that Dusko would be a minus 400 in the UFC, I'll tell you, y'all be lying because this is crazy. But kind of like
Kind of the right
how
guy
you
to be
guys,
a plus, to be a minus 400
yeah,
against, right?
yeah, kind of like you guys mentioned. I mean, if you told me what else is Medina good at than being a human punching bag, I'll tell you nothing else. So I mean, it makes sense. The path is there. I mean, hit Medina because he's gonna be hittable, take him down, and it's just gonna be a real sloppy fight, man. I mean, when it comes to just betting, I wouldn't be comfortable betting Dusko at all, especially as a minus 400. I mean, that's pretty scary. I think you could go towards the under, but like you guys said, Medina's pretty tough. Like we've all seen his previous fights, so he might just get punched a lot in 3 rounds, so you could take Dusko by decision. That wouldn't be a bad pick in my opinion. So I'm gonna go Dusko for sure because I can't pick Medina to win any fight in the UFC. I don't think he should be in the UFC. He got signed off a loss, so I'm gonna go with the guy that at least won here before and has some type of skill. So I'm gonna go with Dusko. Dusko by decision.
Absolutely agree with you on that, man. Absolutely agree. Now, this fight right here, this is what I want. This is what I'm talking about right here. Lightweight bout. Alexander Hernandez, coming in, I believe, is it short notice, I believe, or it might have been rescheduled because Diego, of
Both
course,
these
was
guys
supposed to
are, or
fight
both these guys
Bobby
are short
Green.
notice.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
mean,
both for notice up.
he was supposed to fight King Green, obviously, and Hernandez is coming off of a 3 or 4 fight win streak now. His last fight, of course, against Chase Hooper, which you know my friends actually won some money on, so kudos to them. Seems like Hernandez has finally found his rhythm once again, and at one point this guy seemed like, oh, okay, he might actually be something very interesting. Of course, he defeated Benil Dariush short notice. I mean, what a knockout that was, absolutely. And I feel like he has a great chance to continue his win streak. I don't know if he wins by finish here in this fight, but great fight overall. I'm excited for this one against Diego Fajeda. Um, what more can we really say about this one, my friends? Because it's a banger. It's a lovely banger, and I think, other than the main event, the best fight on the card.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. This brought a lot of juice to the card that was like somewhat lacking, in my opinion, before. Now we got this pretty high stakes lightweight fight, kind of on the borders of the top 15 that kind of gets everyone now pumped. But on the fight, Hernandez, as you said, on the win streak right now, and he was struggling there for a little bit, had some pretty poor performances, but come back, and now he's on, like I said, 3 fight win streak. Last fight, first round finish over a pretty hype prospect, was a big underdog in that fight. Whoever was on him made a lot of money. But here's the thing about Hernandez: I still don't think this guy is gonna necessarily reach his full potential because I still see him as somewhat of a round one fighter. In my opinion, I don't
Right.
still love the cardio from Hernandez, even in these wins, right? He's going to, close decision with Austin Hubbard, who's, I think he just got cut, I believe, today. So,
Yeah.
it just tells you he's lost to guys that aren't even fighting anymore. He lost to Damon Jackson just about a year ago, I believe. And that was mainly off, the cardio. He wasn't able to kind of, get his fight in the first round and just kind of faded. And against Ferreira, if he isn't able to get finished, which is, a big if because he is 40, coming off a loss. But, even against Grant Dawson, looked decent. But I'm going to say I do like Ferreira in this fight to kind of pull away late. It's coming on strong versus Grant Dawson. I think same thing could have it as long as he doesn't run into that big right hand. And yeah, I love, the whole well-rounded game from Fajeda. The BJJ is one of the highest level BJJs we have in the UFC in terms of just pure accolades. And the dude can strike too. He got nasty power. So give me Fajeda by decision here.
TMC, it really does feel like, and I absolutely agree with Barry on this one. It really just does seem like that Hernandez. It really comes down to if Hernandez can manage the cardio in this fight.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you guys. I mean, Barry said it perfect. Hernandez is a first round fighter. We saw it with the we saw it with a bunch of fights. We saw it with the Billy Q fight where he started off good, then
Mhm.
Billy Q rallied with the cardio and got the job done. But part of me, I want to pick Hernandez in this fight just because I feel like he's gonna be more composed. I think on the feet, he's a little bit quicker, definitely the better athlete. I think where it could get a little scary for him if it goes to the ground. Diego has really good grappling. I'm pretty sure he's teaching over at Fortis where he trains at. So on the ground he's definitely gonna have the edge there. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go with Hernandez. I think from a betting angle, if you like Diego, maybe bet him live after round one. You might get a better number after Hernandez gasses out. So, but pre-fight, I'm gonna go with Hernandez for sure.
Yeah, this is probably the closest fight on the entire card in my opinion. And I'm not just going by odds. I do feel like this fight is really going to answer a lot of unanswered questions, of course. And who knows how things are going to go with momentum kind of playing the part in this fight as well. Hernandez with his win streak, Diego Fajeda with his last fight against Grant Dawson. And then, of course, you got the cardio that we just talked about, obviously. So, interesting fight. I like this fight a lot. And that's the prelims. We finally got through the prelims here, and we're going to go ahead and start off bantamweight clash to open up the main card. Santiago Luna making his debut. He takes on Guang Li. Uh, Interesting fight. I haven't thought too much about it, but as you can see here, there's going to be a very good height and reach advantage for Luna in this fight. I believe with the odds on DraftKings, I believe this is a pick'em. I'm actually about to check that right now. Yeah, pretty much, almost a pick'em. Luna is the slight favorite in this fight so far. Interesting fight, guys. What do y'all think?
Yeah, and again, for those who haven't watched, Santiago Luna, very, very young in his career, obviously 21 years old. Like we've seen as Alice Pereira could have some pre-fight jitters, but I really like what I'm seeing from him on the regional scene. I know he's fighting, you expect these guys just come in kind of just smoking all their opponents on the regional scene, but he's been in some tough fights. On the regional scene, he's shown the guy's got heart. He's got some dog in him. I have no doubt if this gets tough for him, maybe in the scrambles, or maybe even if he gets rocked a little bit on the feet, I have no doubt he's going to be able to push through, where other prospects have just kind of like not felt that pressure yet. And I like this guy overall. He's got power in the hands of striking. Like, look at it from surface level, looks a little bit stiff, but the dude's got real one-punch knockout power, which we have seen, Kang Lee get cracked a couple times in his UFC run. And in terms of the wrestling, he does come from a Greco-Roman wrestling background, and the scrambles are there, right? He definitely is willing to scramble, which is kind of a bit of a red flag in this fight because I think Kang Lee also has really good scrambles, as he's shown in his last fight where he kind of ragdolled Gaston Bolaños, but Bolaños doesn't really have a very developed ground game in my opinion. So I think on the ground it's going to be pretty even, in my opinion. And on the feet, while this fight will be kind of close. Kane Lee, only 11 fights, but he definitely does have the UFC experience, and just the overall age factor. He's been around for a while, been across seas, but I do like Luna in this fight to be a little bit more effective on the feet and on the ground, be able to kind of avoid those dangerous spots in the scrambles, and use his wrestling background to get back to the feet to win by decision. Close one though.
I do agree this is a close one. Gordon, what do you think about this fight, man? I don't know how much you know about Luna, but I mean, with Lee, we've seen him before. He's coming off of a good win after two rough fights that started his UFC career off. What are you thinking about this one, my friend?
Yeah, man, I was just getting looking over the notes while Barry was making some good points, and yeah, Luna's. I mean, he looks like a solid prospect. I'm not sure how credible his wins really are, but looks like he's fishing dudes, submissions, KOs, and even though Lee does have a few UFC fights under his belt, he has been cracked. So I think if Luna could keep it on the feet, his striking is definitely better, and I could see Luna win this fight in his debut.
I honestly think it's a tough one, man. I mean, I know with Lee, his debut fight was against Chris Gutierrez, which is a frustrating first fight to really deal with after going 7-0 in the LFA, I believe. Um, and then of course he lost his next one, I believe, to I want to say Long Zhao. Um, don't know if that's completely true. That's just I'm going with my brain here. Honestly, I'm not looking it up. But Lee, of course, he
Yeah,
had
he
those
did. He
first two
lost by knockout to
performances.
Long Zhao.
Ah, okay, okay. So he did have that fight with Long Zhao, and of course, I believe he just came back. He choked somebody out. So good for him, obviously. So he's back with a little bit of momentum, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and check that right now because I know for sure it wasn't Borjas. It was Bolanos. Yep. Now I remember. So he pretty much choked out Gaston, which of course has in a way some kind of credibility and some a little bit of attention, obviously, for looking like a few other people. Um, but Gaston's a pretty good fighter nonetheless as well. Um, tough fight, tough fight. Have not seen Luna. I know he has a 100% finish rate. Um, and if we go to the odds right now for that fight, I do believe. Yeah, let's look at it here. I mean, for Luna with his 100% finish streak, and we've seen Lee get knocked out before, have some trouble in the past before. Luna, of course, to win by knockout plus 350, to win by sub, which he is most known for. He has more submission victories than he does knockouts, is plus 500 as well. So that's pretty interesting in my opinion, and maybe in a way might be worth playing. But then again, with Lee, he's got the experience for him to win by decision, which would, I believe, probably be his best case of winning this fight, is plus 300. So interesting odds here for this fight. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just go with I'm gonna go with Lee, just mainly due to the fact that I've seen this guy fight. I have not seen Luna. I've not done my research on Luna yet, but I will, so I might make a change there.
It's definitely a fair take.
Middleweight bout. I know our boy Mark Berry is very excited about this fridge coming right back.
Mexican refrigerator.
Yeah, man,
Mexican
the
refrigerator.
refrigerator is back again, and he's taking on Dustin Stofus. First off, what a downfall for Kelvin Gastelum. And I don't know if it's just because of a momentum issue, a motivation issue, or just really just due to the fact that he won't cut anymore. But I mean, he had that success in 185. He defeated names like Jacare Souza and Michael Bisping, of course. Has fought some pretty good fighters, and of course Uriah Hall, Tyron Woodley, and Chris Weidman, of course, before he was extremely washed. So Kelvin Gastelum has definitely fought, in a way, the best of the best of them. Of course, mostly known for his fight against Adesanya, but it's been rough for Kelvin Gastelum since then. A few losses here, a few losses there. Of course, some. I believe his one of his last victories. I believe that was against Chris Curtis. I mean, obviously you had the problems with the headbutt, I believe, and of course he's coming off that victory against D Rod as well, which I mean he looked good in. I mean, he looked very dominant in. And it has aged well as D Rod is now ranked, I believe. And with Dustin Stolfus, he's coming off a loss. I know he had that very surprising knockout against Power Bar Mark Andre Barriel. And I gotta refresh my memory here. He fought Ruziboyev. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I remember that fight now. But interesting fight. It seems like the UFC just really wants Kelvin Gastelum to get another victory here, in my opinion, Gordon.
Yeah, I will open it by saying I was kind of tempted to pick Stoltzfus, just kind of about the whole, motivation thing. The guy, Kelvin, as we could say, go all day about how this guy is very, very talented, but at the end of the day, he couldn't put down the tacos. He
Yep.
tried to go back to 170 for then he got smoked by Sean Brady. I know Sean Brady is good, but he just didn't show any heart in that fight. Then the whole D-Rod weight miss situation, moving up to 185 and stuff like that. And then, and it sucks because I feel this guy is motivated when he gets into the cage. You see the toughness every time he goes out there. A legendary chin, and that's, going to be replayed for a while now. The guy still hasn't been knocked out over, a very long UFC run and a lot of power punchers. But, I was tempted to pick Stoltzfus because, the size advantage, like every other Kelvin Gastelum fight, it's going to be a big size advantage for Justin Stoltzfus. And the guy's pretty relentless, right? He does have power in the hands, as we've seen in his most recent fights. He was able to kind of crack Rizaboyev in that fight. I know it was kind of a little bit of headbutt situation, but he was able to still hang in there with Rizaboyev, kind of threaten that guillotine. Um, and obviously, like I said, the size advantage, the relentless wrestling that he sometimes brings, I think it's gonna be good for him. But putting biases aside, I do have to pick Gastelum based off of the guy is still very athletic guy. Does have the kind of wrestling background, and like I said, the chin is still there. And while he wasn't able to reach Pfeiffer with some of those strikes, he still looked decent later on in that fight. I know Pfeiffer is kind of a knockout or bust at this point, but still looked decent later in that fight. So I do like Gastelum. Like I said, not I think minus 200 for Kelvin Gastelum at this point in his career is insane, but I still think he can edge out a close victory here.
Yeah, and you know what? I really don't blame you for looking at Stofus to maybe win this fight because I mean, if you obviously, being the grappler that he is, and I mean, he's a good submission artist. I mean, if you go on that, dude, it's the win by submission is plus 1400, and we know that's his absolute best chance of winning this fight. In my opinion, it is. I mean, it's either sub or decision. I don't think he will knock out Kelvin Gastelum. If he does, my God, that would be insane. But Dustin Stofus, we've seen the upsets before in one of his last fights against Mark Andre Barriel. Gordon, what are you thinking about this fight, man? I mean, I feel like you're going to pick Kelvin Gastelum as well, but do you see the chance here with Dustin Stofus?
I absolutely see a chance. I mean, I can't pick a Dustin Stoltzfus fight, right? Starting off with the Puna fight, that was in Austin. I'm pretty sure Puna was the favorite. Dustin upset him and got the sub. Same with the Mark Andre fight. I had Mark Andre parlayed and Dustin spoiled that party too. But I think this is a good matchup for Kelvin, man. I think if he just keeps on the feet he can definitely win against Dustin, taking a big step down in competition compared to who he's been fighting. I mean, the Sean Brady's, the Joe Pfeiffers.
Yeah,
Now Dustin Stoltzfus is kind of like the UFC gave him a favor, like, hey, like I know you've been fighting some real killers. Here's a chance to maybe bounce back and win. So in terms of betting, I wouldn't be mad at Dustin Stoltzfus plus 3.5. Maybe honestly, this could be a fight where the fight finishes, but I can see it going decision as well. And if Kelvin gets taken down by Dustin, Dustin might just ride him out the whole round, honestly, because we've seen against Sean Brady against these grapplers, Kelvin on his back isn't really he's not really a big problem. So I can see Dustin winning a round, even win a decision. So betting on like Kelvin as a -200, honestly. But if I had to pick a side, I'm gonna go with Kelvin Gastelum by decision.
absolutely agree with you. I was going to see if there was maybe something interesting with Stofus and maybe landing the takedown against Gastelum of all people, just because of the styles overall. I feel like maybe that would be on the plus side, but it's not there yet. We do have co-main event and main event, but yeah, I think we're. I don't think anything. We're all in unison that Kelvin Gastelum should be able to win this fight, but man, if Dustin Stofus upsets someone like Kelvin Gastelum, that would be, like I said, that would be insane. But in a way, can you really be surprised with it at this point of his career? I don't know. I really don't know.
I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't if Dustin Stoltzfus took Kelvin's back somehow and just got a rear naked choke. I could definitely see that happening for sure.
I mean, I know for
Yeah,
sure everybody was shocked when Jack Hermanson got that submission, that heel hook submission on Kelvin Gastelum. I know a lot of people were shocked about that.
yeah,
But
for sure. I mean, I would definitely not be surprised if, like I said, I think Stoltzfus' UFC record is a little bit deceiving. He fought a lot of like power punchers, but like this is a better style matchup for like Stoltzfus. But I still think Gastelum like should win. But like Stoltzfus, he is relentless with those takedowns.
yeah, we just really never know, man. I do feel like Gastelum will mix it up like he usually does. So I do feel like he will try to land a takedown on Dustin. But when that happens, I feel like that is Dustin's best chance to probably threaten with a guillotine and maybe win the fight, or at least in a way reverse it and maybe control Kelvin Gastelum. It's going to be a great fight to see. Interesting stylistic clash, and this is really going to tell if Kelvin Gastelum should just really go ahead and call it a career or not. So we'll just have to see. Big old fridge might have to retire. Lightweight belt. Uh, I think this is a good fight. I really do. I feel like this is a great fight. Rafa Garcia, of course, and Jared Flash Gordon. I believe Gordon is coming off of that interesting knockout win against Tiago Moises. Yep, that's exactly what it is. So I remember that absolutely, and I think on Rafa's side, oh yeah, it was him. Vin, fucking Vince from hell. Uh, but you got him, of course. Interesting fight. I do believe the odds are right on this one, guys. I really do. I feel like this is Jared Gordon's fight to win, but we have seen in the past where he has had trouble, and obviously judges are usually not on his side as well. And I don't think they're going to be on his side for this one too, considering it's Noche UFC. And I mean, look who he's fighting, Rafa Garcia.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I agree with you. I think the odds are correct in this fight. He's one of my, like right off the bat, I am going to say I'm picking Gordon in this fight. He's one of my more confident picks on this card.
Yeah.
Mainly just because I don't see like the things that Gordon has struggled with in the past. I don't really see that from Garcia. Garcia, I will give him credit, right? He's very tough. He's very good at multiple things. He can get secure takedowns if he wants to. He does have decent striking, good kicks, but I just think in general, like the threat isn't really there. I don't think this guy's very dangerous at all. In the UFC, I feel like he only has one finish win in the UFC by submission, and I just don't see that happening against Jared Gordon, who he's kind of peaking later in his career, right? He's seeing these really good performances against, good guys. He's given Nazareth Haqparast. He should have beat Nazareth Haqparast on the scorecards. He should have beat Paddy Pimblett on the scorecards. So, these are two really, really good guys in the lightweight division. So, in terms of, where this is a step in competition, I believe this is a step down from what he's faced in the past. He flatlined. I know Thiago Moises isn't the same guy he was once, but he flatlined him bad in the first round. And I think he may be able to get that power going early in this fight. He's shown he's got that old man power now. So, we'll definitely see. This is interesting, fight for him. Could be kind of his boost up potentially into the rankings maybe, but I do like Gordon in this fight. The wrestling too. I didn't mention the wrestling, but that's also there. We saw Garcia get kind of mauled by Grant Dawson. Again, he's not Grant Dawson, but he definitely can mix that in if you want to. So I got Gordon by decision, but knockout may be juicy depending on where those odds are.
Gordon, what you thinking about this one, man?
Man, you know I go my other guy that's named Gordon. So this dude, I'm a big fan of Jared Gordon because he's kind of like who we saw last week, Sam Hughes, where they hustle a lot, and then if you're betting on them, they're gonna fight for you every time. I mean, Jared Gordon, he brings the pace. He's gonna get the little dirty boxing, and he's gonna make it scrappy. And I think against Rafa, he's gonna really test his cardio. So, like Barry said, I think Jared Gordon by decision's a really good take. I like Jared Gordon if you maybe parlay him. I think that might be a good take as well. But this is a really good matchup for him. I think he can set the pace. His striking can get off, and I think he can cruise to a decision really, really well.
Yeah, and I'm very surprised at looking at these odds that Jared Gordon to get a knockout is plus 650. That is definitely something intriguing to try and play on for a parlay. And of course, at the end of this, after we talk about the main event, we're gonna try and do a free leg parlay. All three of us. We're gonna try and do our own free leg parlay. So I mean, I definitely like that. Plus 650 for Jared Gordon is great. And as you can see, a lot of people are expecting him to win by decision, minus 150. It's going to be, like I've said with all these fights now at this point, it's going to be interesting. But I really do mean it with this one. This is a good fight. I do think Rafa will come forward and he will try the pressure. I do think Jared Gordon will do Jared Gordon fangs. And I do feel like this might actually be, in a way, somewhat a dirty Botson fight. I feel like we're going to see a lot of clinching in this fight as well. So it's going to be a good one. I know it is, but I got Jared Gordon for this one as well, guys. I really do. And with that, we got our co-main event. We were talking about it before we actually went live here for this recording, but bantamweight bout David Martinez is taking on number 9 Rob Font. He was supposed to fight Lee, who is down on the card right down here, of course. But now he takes on the number 9 ranked bantamweight. David Martinez, of course, only has one fight in the UFC, so this is an absolute big step up for him. We were talking about some of the concerns that we had with David Martinez's last fight, and very, very shocked to see that this match is really a pick 'em, in my opinion, Barry.
Yeah, I kind of touched on it as well. I am, a bit surprised just from like other people perspective that Rob Font is a little bit bigger of a favorite, just because other people they see the experience. This guy's Rob Font's fought everyone in this division: Chito Vera, Corey Sandhagen. He fought Marlon Moraes, so he's fought some really good guys in the division. But on the other hand, I think this guy David Martinez is a big, big problem for bantamweight. I know, Simon Oliveira is not the best one, but he handled him like he was supposed to handle someone that's below his level. He bitched him. He handled him like he was someone who was 0-3 in the UFC. And I'm telling you, man, that contender series win against Xavier Franklin, he really showed that he's a very dynamic guy. And Xavier Franklin, that win is going to age very well, in my opinion. He's also a prospect I was high on for a little bit. So just in my opinion, Dave Martinez, I know Rafa has the experience, but the experience cannot fight for you when you're in the cage. You have to look at the stylistic matchup, and I think, in my opinion, that Dave Martinez's kicks and his speed is definitely going to be. This guy's very bouncy on his feet. Like I said, loves to use the kicks to keep range. Despite him maybe being at a physical like reach disadvantage, I think he's going to be able to kind of like keep range in this fight, kind of keep Rob Font at bay. I know Rob's just mainly a boxer. He's got a good jab and stuff, but if he's able to keep range, kind of dance around, maybe even just show him the takedown, don't have to go for it. But of course, we've seen Rob Font struggle a little bit with takedowns in his career. So maybe if he just shows him the takedown and then keeps going with those kicks, I think you have a lot of success in this fight. Obviously, as the fight goes on late, Rob Font could potentially pull away. I think David Martinez plus 3.5, you're going to get, very good odds on that. But I'm going to outright pick David Martinez to win this fight by decision here. I just love this prospect in this division. I think, Rob Font struggled a lot with Gene Matsumoto, and I think David Martinez is a little bit sharper on the feet than Gene and is a little bit faster. So give me Martinez to win the fight by decision.
Honestly, I think you're very spot on about the grappling part about that, man. Obviously, Rob Font has had great trouble, with grappling. And of course, with that last fight that he had, why wouldn't you try to at least threaten the takedown, or at least show it? So I absolutely agree with you there. Um, Gordon, what do you think, man? Because of course, Rob Font is Rob Font. He's really been this gatekeeper right now for a little bit. So I mean, maybe with one last win here, he might actually start getting some more respect back from the UFC and potentially fighting someone just a little bit lower than him in the rankings, or maybe in a very rare way, maybe someone above in this next fight. What are you thinking about this fight, man?
Yeah, so Barry kind of touched on it. Experience definitely can't fight for you in the cage, but I definitely think it's a factor when it comes to this matchup. I just think Rob Font's his jab, if he cuts off Martinez with the kicks, I think he has a really good chance to win this fight. And if you just look at his record of who he's fought, the Cheeto Veras, the Cody Garbrandt, I mean, he's fought some tough guys, and I think Martinez is going to be really good. I just think is one of those situations where it's a little too soon, like a little too early in his career. But I'm gonna go with Rob Font. I think if he just pops that jab, gets on Martinez early and tests that cardio, he's gonna do really good.
Yep, it's going to be an interesting fight, guys. And I mean, Rob Font, I believe is getting up there in age. Slight favorite right now with the odds, but then again, that's the UFC odds. So I mean, I might not even want to look at that because they think Lopez is the favorite in this fight. But I mean, pretty much a pick 'em, as you can see here. Minus 115 for Rob, minus 105 for David Martinez. So this is pretty much a pick 'em right now. Great fight overall. Cannot wait for this one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the over as well. I think if David Martinez wins, I think it's gonna be real hard to put away Rob Font just because he's so tough. And if Rob Font wins, I think he just kind of outpoints Martinez. So I like the over 2.5 as well.
Hmm. And finally, featherweight bout, main event. I mean, look at these guys. You got, well, old renders right there, but you got John Silva with hair, Diego Lopez with a mustache, number 2 ranked versus number 10 ranked. Odds have Lopez as the favorite. I believe they're actually swapped the other way around. You go on DraftKings, it is the other way around. John Silva minus 238 favorite. Diego Lopez plus 195. And I really do feel like these odds are a great example of recency bias. Um, and it's pretty insane, honestly. I do not think John Silva should be that heavy of a favorite. And I mean, if anything, at worst, he should be a slight favorite in this fight, guys. But I mean, John Silva has been doing some incredible things. Both guys seems like their win resumes are very similar in skill wise and caliber. Of course, we know Lopez is going to have that height and reach advantage against John Silva, but I mean, John Silva will have the momentum in this fight. So, what are you guys feeling about this one, man? Because definitely one of the closer fights to call throughout this card.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I love this fight as the main event. A true, like, I know it's not a title eliminator because Murphy's probably getting the next title shot, but
Yeah,
I would assume the winner of this fight, maybe not Lopez if Volk wins that fight, but I'm assuming the winner of this fight, especially if Silva, probably going to get the next title shot. But it's just a very fun car crash type of fight. You know, both these guys are going to put it on the line, are going to take risks in this fight to try to get the finish. I do believe this is a fight where we won't see the scorecards no matter what. But for me, I just think the difference in this fight is going to be the technique and the speed of Jean Silva going up against Diego Lopez. And for I understand if you are picking Lopez because he does have the experience 5 rounds, and if maybe this goes fourth, fifth round, he can kind of work the pace on Jean Silva. But I just wish if I was picking Lopez, I'd wish he'd grapple a little bit more. At least try to grapple a little bit more. Because if you see the stats,
yeah,
right, it actually says that Gene Silva attempts more takedowns per fight than Diego Lopez. I believe Lopez is at like 0.35 per 15 minutes, and Gene Silva sits around half a takedown per 15 minutes. So I know this is mainly going to be a striking match. Maybe Lopez can shoot 1 or 2 takedowns. I know he shot, I think, 1 or 2 against Volk, but mainly striking match in my opinion. I just think for Diego Lopez, he just does not get his head off the center line. It's just right there, going straight back and straight forward. And I think it's going to be there for Gene Silva to hit, maybe not in the first round, but as he times these shots, then can get Diego Lopez frustrated, too fast for him to maybe get out of the way of those strikes. Obviously, if Lopez lands, we see it has disastrous effects on his opponents. We haven't really seen Gene Silva kind of get hit like that, so we'll see if it comes to that. But just in my opinion, I just think the speed and accuracy of Gene Silva is something completely different in this featherweight division. I'm really high on this guy. I know a lot of people are just like, fade the fighting nerds now that, both their dudes lost last week, but I think this guy's different from all. And I think he's by far the most skilled of that bunch. And, you don't, the gym doesn't fight for you. I think Gene Silva by himself is a fantastic fighter, and I think he's going to do great things in the division. And I'm picking him pretty decently confident in this fight. Obviously, the experience is a factor, but I like Silva to win this fight with the striking and the technique.
yeah, absolutely. I am actually picking Gene Silva. I think this is a close fight overall. I'm just very interested in seeing how he does against the height and reach because I mean, there's a difference between Diego Lopez and let's say another tall fighter, let's say when he made his debut against Weston Wilson, which I think if you go back and watch that fight, guys, I think that was like one of the absolute worst performances I've ever
Yeah,
seen from
yeah. And
Weston
another thing to
Wilson.
add is that the people he's fought. I know Lopez has fought like higher rank guys, but like Gene Silva has some like sneaky decent wins in my opinion. Like
He
he beat
does.
Charles Jourdain, belt to ass early in that first round. And Jourdain, a tough guy, hard to get out of there. Had his first knockout loss inside the first round. Then he went 2 weeks later, fought up a weight class against Drew Dober, who's I know he's not in his prime, but Drew Dober's a big guy, very good chin,
Yeah.
and will always push the pace as well. So I think Gene Silva, while he's
Well,
not dealt with the height and the reach yet, has dealt with some bigger guys in his career.
Well, that's what I was saying, before. I do feel like if you look at both guys' wins, they're kind of on par with each other in terms of resume. Um, I mean, obviously, with Lopez, his that Brian Ortega fight and win will stand out, but you got to put context behind it because I mean, Brian Ortega, this is not the same Brian Ortega that we saw when he was you know, having those performances against people like let's say Hanato Moicano and of course Frankie Edgar. And I mean even the performance that he had against the Korean Zombie as well. That wasn't really uh that was not that Brian Ortega. Um I feel like that was a Brian Ortega. That was he was very vocal about wanting to go up. So that was very interesting. Very interesting that he still fights pretty much at featherweight. He needs to go up. Brian Ortega does, but this should be a brawl in my opinion, guys. It will absolutely be a brawl. Um, I remember, Lopez, of course, getting cracked several times throughout his career. So very intrigued to see what he does there. But I mean, if there's one thing I'm hoping for, I love the violence. I love the CTE. I would love to see shades of Vanderlei Silva versus Brian Stan in this main event. That would be lovely. Just a lovely thing to see. But Gordon, it's a close fight. Obviously a very close fight. What are you thinking about this one, man? Because I mean, I do feel like I am rooting for Gene Silva in this fight, but I do not think he should be the favorite like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same side with Gene Silva. I think my main takeaway from this matchup is kind of like the wild man versus technician. We're gonna have Lopez as the wild man, throwing a lot of the crazy attacks, the looping shots, maybe not as technical with Gene Silva on the other side. He's gonna be a little more tight. Shots are a little bit more sharper. So I mean, and then like you guys said, comparing the resumes, I mean, Gene Silva's been fighting some really tough guys: Drew Dober, Charles Jourdain, all these guys, Bryce Mitchell. And not to take away from Lopez, but was his best win is that Ortega fight where Ortega's maybe 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So yeah, I totally agree. I don't see it going to the scorecards. Maybe John Silva KO because I could see just catches Lopez when he's entering, or they might be in an exchange and he just hits Lopez with a clean shot and puts him out. So yeah, out of all the fight nerds, I think John is at the top of that list. So I'm gonna go with Silva by KO in this one.
No, I agree. I do feel like when it comes to the fighting nerds, he's definitely he's got the most potential out of everybody. Um, But if there is one thing that really does worry me about this fight is also the mental aspect. I mean, how will John Silva do, with the pressure of, being like the last fighting nerd that everybody is really kind of like counting on, for example? How will he react? Because, I mean, he is a very emotional guy. He's a very emotional guy. So, I mean, what's the game plan really going to look like? I mean, does he want to try and prove a point with Lopez? He hates Lopez. He does not like Lopez, and Lopez does not like him. So I mean, this is going to be a completely different fight from what we saw against Dober. There's not going to be high fives. There's not going to be clapping. He's not going to. I think he's not going to really acknowledge him that much. The mental aspect is very more. It's much more interesting than the physical aspect of this fight, in my opinion. So I'm very intrigued to see what John Silva does. I mean, when the cage door closes, and I mean, Herb Dean or whoever it is, just basically claps their hands and I mean, puts the hand out there and say, let's fight. Um, it's going to be interesting too, but I feel like John Silva is in much more pressure than Diego Lopez in this fight, absolutely. And, that might take a toll on John Silva as well. So I feel like this is a much more closer fight than what the betters and the odds are really saying here. It's a great fight, phenomenal fight. I'm just hoping for a brawl either way, man.
Yeah, same here. Should be an awesome fight, and I think everybody be entertained by this one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, before we go ahead and wrap it up here, I want to try and make a free leg parlay. Of course, I'm not the best with parlays. I've had some hit, but I mean, I mostly don't really look at the other odds other than the money lines and the winning methods as well. I don't really dip my foot into other stuff like that. Um, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to do something here. So let's go ahead and try it out. So I think mine are really just gonna be in the winning method for this one, guys. And honestly, first one that I want to go ahead and pull out of my ass is actually, where is it here? Let me see. It's one of these, I believe. Yeah, I feel like this one right here might actually be interesting. Louis Garul, inside the distance. Plus 215 overall could be very interesting to play. Obviously, I won't be putting any plays in for this card, obviously, but I do want to have like a little what if scenario if I wanted to really do something. Um, wow, look at this Dusko to win by a knockout or anything really, plus 150. Did not expect it to be like that, but I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised either. Um, and you know what? I might actually just go ahead and swap Lewis more with Joaquim inside the different distance. Jeez, I can't talk. I'm a little bit tired. It's midnight for me now. But plus 275, for Joaquim Silva against Claudio Puelles, who has had, problems in the past. I feel like this might be very interesting to play on overall. Um, and of course, we were talking about this one for the featured fight, but I mean, I like it for some reason, but it's a bonkers one, I know, but plus 650 for Jared Gordon to win by knockout. I do not see a submission, and I mean, obviously, decision can always happen, but I feel like Gordon's going to be a lot more aggressive, and coming off the waves and the momentum of his last fight. I mean, I feel like he's going to be feeling himself in this one. He's going to definitely take a lot more chances. It might cost him in the end, but I do feel like Jared Gordon will try and show up and show out overall. Um, and let me see here. I might actually go back to that Louis Garul um, pick as well. Um, let me try here. Cedricus Dumas to win by submission. Just amazing. I'm playing. Um, but if I really want to try, yeah, I think I might just go ahead and go back because to that one as well. So where is it here? Louis Garul, Lewis to win inside the distance as well. I mean, you put $10 on that, $885 dollars that you can win just from that. And I mean, these free options are very possible. Joaquim Silva always has that power, always seems to rattle someone, and I feel like the hardest one would obviously be that plus 650 with Jared Gordon as well. But that's just a little quick one in my mind, obviously. But I mean, I feel like Mark would definitely have a better one than I would, obviously. So I definitely want to know what he would do.
All right, so this one obviously I'm not as crazy as picking a bunch of finish lines, but I am a little bit pretty confident in this these three legs of the parlay. So first off, I believe we got Gene Silva money line. It's sitting at around minus 230 right now. Again, we talked about it's a little bit juiced, but I am decently confident in Gene Silva to come out here and really impose his will in the striking, and kind of set that pace early, maybe even find a finish late. Second pick, I believe we got Jared Gordon money line. Listen, there's a lot. I think this is pretty good value. For what you get, there's a lot of big favorites. I know Dushko is like minus 400 right now, but I think that's decent value for a guy that should be like. I think that's his fight to lose. In this case, and I think he could potentially, dominate start to finish here. So, obviously talked about KO could be a good play, but Give me Jared Gordon money line. Third leg. This is the one that's gonna be plus money, just barely. Is gonna be Alessandro Costa inside the distance. Listen, I love the leg kick. The big thing in this fight is gonna be the leg kicks for me. Like you said, Correa's a big guy, 5'8", 5'9", I believe. But I think he'll be able to chop that tree down with the leg kicks. Obviously put together the big striking combination he's shown both of his UFC fights finish inside the distance. So I think he's able to put the pressure on this guy Correa. I think he potentially break him again with the leg kicks and with the speed and the accuracy on his punches.
Definitely a lot more safer, and I really do not blame you here. Jared Gordon and John Silva, both very good. I feel like John Silva would be I feel like he would probably be the first one to ruin it, in my opinion. You know, just how
Yeah.
close that fight with Lopez would be, in
And
my
if
opinion.
as a safer third leg option, if you're not like as confident in Costa, I don't think his minus 3.5 is like at minus 200 right now. Again, that's pretty juiced too, but I think that you're still gonna get like barely plus odds for that. And I think I'm pretty confident in the minus 3.5, but I do think still he gets it done by finish.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I actually like this parlay a lot. I do think this is a very solid parlay. You know, it's not fucking bouncing off the walls like I am, you know, just doing the finishes and shit like that and hoping for the best. But you know, I definitely like that a lot. Definitely a good parlay. Gordon, what about you, man?
Yeah, so same here. Mine probably won't be as juiced, but we'll go with Rob Font as leg one. I think he schools the young buck and cruises to a nice little decision. My second leg would be Tatiana Suarez inside the distance. I think she could find a sub on Lemos early and get that done. And my last one would be Dumas and Reese, the best fight of the card, and that's gonna be not to go the distance because we know those two are gonna punch each other really hard and get a finish. So yeah, those would be my three.
All right, well, I'm trying to find it right here. I'm trying to find this shit. Let me see here. Decision. Where is the let me see. Fight parlay. Yeah, there we go. This is the one. So we got that. Oh, but you said not to go the distance though, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, for the Dumas and Reese show.
Right. Um, not sure where to get to that. Let me see.
Oh, I think it was just right there. Yep. Fight to go the distance. No. Yep.
Yeah, there we
Like
go.
that top line. Yep,
Top
right
one.
there on your right.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Uh,
Oh, you're on your left side. So
Yeah,
where you just
go
at?
to the first one. Yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The one I
And
was
then
already
no.
on that. Yeah, no. Let me see.
Yeah, yep, right there.
Zach Reese. Okay. And the other one was Suarez money line. You said, or was that
Inside the distance.
inside the
Yep.
distance? Okay.
Yep.
Uh, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get it. My eyes are so fucking tired, bro.
It's all good, man. It's been a long one.
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
it
that's probably midnight
absolutely
over here
has.
too, man. I'm trying to get some sleep after this.
All right. Finish only toucher on Suarez. So plus 161 overall, definitely not a juicy one, but I mean it's definitely a safe bet. Definitely a safe bet in my opinion. So I definitely don't blame it at all. But yeah, man, this was a pretty good breakdown in my opinion. Of course, you know, I'm a little bit rusty. TMZ is a little bit rusty. Mark Berry, of course, I watched your video. Great breakdown on your channel as well, man. Um, of course, it's been half a year, half a year since the last time we did card breakdown. So I mean, we'll find our footing again, absolutely. But I feel like we did pretty solid, and man, it's definitely over 2 hours. Wow. But yeah, I mean, seriously, guys, this was definitely nice. I definitely enjoyed this with you guys, and I hope for all of you that are going to be watching this breakdown, of course, I hope you enjoyed. I don't know if you sat here and watched us talk for 2 hours, but I mean, of course,
If you
this is
did,
our
God bless you.
breakdowns.
God bless you.
Yeah, if you did, God bless you, man, because we were kind of repeating ourselves a bit. But I mean, like I said, it's going to take a little bit for us to find our footing again, obviously. But I mean, I love doing these breakdowns. I love doing all this stuff, and I really do got to thank you guys too for joining us. Of course, Mark Berry and Gordon Momon. This was fun. This was fun as always.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
no,
Thank you guys so much for having me, man. I haven't been on this first time, as you mentioned, first time for me on this show. I really enjoyed like being able to kind of bounce opinions off, one another.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really enjoy it. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, man, no problem. We'll just the next one that we do, we just definitely got to do it earlier. I've been tired. I've been tired for 2 hours now. I cannot wait to get to bed. But this was great, guys. I really do appreciate it. I always like talking to you guys, and hopefully we can do this weekly, man. Hopefully we'll find the time to do it for the Nets card coming up, which absolutely should be lovely as well. Of course, you have to take a look at this, man. Of
The
course.
Junior Tafa co-main event.
Oh yeah, with fucking
you love to see
Aslan,
it.
man. Aslan absolutely sucks.
You love to see it.
Yeah, but I mean, this is actually a path card too, of course, full of notable names. So I'm definitely intrigued by this card too. And I mean, my goodness, I think it's about 16, 17 fights overall for a fight night card. That is really packed, but we'll just have to talk about that some other time. So if you watch this, of course, for over 2 hours, God bless you, just like Mark Berry said. This is, of course, the MMA Mark. Do you guys have something that you want to say?
Hey man, just appreciate you guys staying up later on the East Coast, and it's always a pleasure talking fights with you guys. So yeah, hopefully we do it weekly. Definitely do it earlier from now on just to help you guys out. But yeah, no, it was a great chat with you guys.
Yeah, man, nothing for me, man. I really, again, thank you guys for having me, man. And yeah, like I said, like you guys said, I'd love to do this weekly, because yeah, I know just breaking down it. I mean, I love doing it, man.
Absolutely. I definitely enjoy y'all's company. But thank you guys so much for joining us for this breakdown. Hopefully, one of our parlays, imaginary parlays, will actually hit so we can rub it in each other's faces. But until then, folks, we will see you then, and we will see you in the next one. This is the MMA Mark, TMZ, and TMA signing off. Thank you for watching.